Yeah.
Do you remember how old you were?
gotta think, things crawling on you.
What? Oh,
There it is. No,
I bet it was a bee.
No.
It's a little bug.
It's a
Oh, there it is.
potato good bug.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember how old you were when you got electricity?
Oh,
How
God.
were we, Tony? We were little. When we got electricity. When we first got electricity in Janesville.
Oh, yeah, God, we had a little watch car, you had to reach up there. And we was all sitting around there till it got dark, so we could put it on.
So you could put it on.
I was
How
I
old were we,
remember that,
Tony?
I remember that.
How old were we?
Well, I imagine I was around 8.
7, 8?
And so you're old, are you older than Uncle Tony?
No, we're close.
No.
Yeah.
You,
Same age.
no,
he's-
he's older.
he's,
Nancy, he's older.
83, he'll be 84
sorry,
in March.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Now it's down
We
here.
had gas, and I was always afraid of gas. I guess I must have been about 14 when we got electricity. I was so happy.
But
And we used to have coal stoves.
Santa, Tony, what was
Yeah,
it?
cold stove.
What was
We
it
were
that-
here.
What was it that Mom used to pile up around the table, and she'd have a penny in there, and we'd have to guess. Oatmeal, it's not oatmeal, Santa, what did we make?
Cream of wheat.
No, you know, we make a sauce with it, polenta,
Cornmeal.
cornmeal.
Oh, cornmeal.
Yeah.
Okay.
I never made cornmeal, polenta we call it.
Uh-huh.
Because he said, why don't you make it sometimes? So I did. I asked Nellie how to make it, and she said put it in a dish and put a layer, then put another layer, and then put sauce, you know, and whatever.
Spaghetti
So-
sauce, like tomato
Yeah.
sauce?
So then that night he came home from work, and I was so happy that I made polenta for him. And he said, oh, you didn't make it right.
I
I said,
said,
yes, you did.
you didn't
and-
make it right. I said, you didn't.
She said, you're supposed to put it on the board. She says, Mom used to put it on the board, and we'd make roads, we meet each other.
Yeah, that's what we
I never
said.
told you about that,
She's-
Nancy.
Yeah, you
So
said,
what, was this like cornbread?
you know,
Well,
when,
only-
when
yeah.
she made her macaroni, you know that board?
Okay.
Where she,
Big one,
Uh-huh.
you know.
the big one, it was a big one. And then she'd put it on there, and she'd level it all off, and then she'd put the sauce on there with sausage and stuff.
Uh-huh.
Then us kids would be around there, we'd be making
We'd
a
eat
road.
it.
I'd make a road to meet Jesse, maybe Jesse make a road to meet
That was,
Lavini.
And that was
That's
what
good.
you ate it though, right?
Huh?
You ate it?
Oh,
And it was
sure.
sort of like, was it sort of
Yeah.
like pizza?
That's good.
With
You
no
can-
cheese?
yes, when you got done,
you-
it looked like a pizza, but
Yeah.
it was,
You
it
can
was
see in the
But really-
paper polenta in recipes.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I've never had it.
No,
Oh, that was
good.
good. That was so
I
good.
try to make it once a year.
I gotta
I
have to
haven't
come
made it
next
yet.
time you make it.
I haven't made it yet.
Did you ever make that?
No, I never made it, but I lived near Grandmom and Grandpa. And every time Grandpa would
You
make
mean
it,
you're talking about your mom?
My
right,
mom and
okay.
dad.
Uh-huh.
I would say Grandpa. And then they would drop it like little things, you know, and you put, it was so good. And he'd take it up when he'd make
Take
it
it
down
where?
there for Mom, up to my house.
Oh.
See, he lived down the street a little ways, then he would
Right,
take it up
over here. You used to
Yeah.
live, right?
And,
No,
On Laurel Street.
and,
Oh,
then,
okay.
and then what she would have left over, she would fry it like and make it with oil and stuff. And make it like little balls, like
Mhm.
not bigger than balls, like
See, that was
a cookie or something.
Like a meatball.
No,
Hmm?
more, a
little
little
flat,
bigger than
little
that.
cake.
Something,
Well, you
something like
know-
a, what you call it, and that was good too.
Oh, there was so
I
much
lived with this
things I
Mrs.
looked at.
Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
and the people next door would make this polenta, and she'd say to me, you have to eat it, it's good. And I would put it in my mouth, and it kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and I'd go out and spit it out. That's why I never made it. I didn't
Oh,
think
you didn't
I liked
like
it. But I'm used to it now. I'll eat
Oh,
it.
like
it's so
it now.
good.
Are there other things that you used to eat that you remember that you don't eat now or that you do eat now? Other things that you used to eat,
Sometimes when you come
different
down,
things?
I'll make you
Wow.
aquacotta.
Oh yeah, aquacotta with eggs.
Aquacotta.
What's that?
Aquacotta. Cooked water.
Cooked water? What's
Red
that like?
water,
Well, it's aquacotta, cooked water.
yeah.
It's like a soup
And you pour it over your,
bread.
the
Stale
bread,
bread.
the bread should be hot, you know, a week old or so. I saved Charles's.
And you pour it over that?
You cut the bread up in a dish, whatever
Yeah.
size you win, and then you know you cook the
onion, garlic, parsley.
for a little while, and then in the end, when it's time to eat, you drop an egg in there, and it poached really.
Yeah.
And
Do
then
you mix it up?
No,
just
no.
leave it there
No,
till
you
it's
just let it-
ready. And then you pour it into the bread, 1 egg or 2 eggs, whatever you
Mhm.
want. It's really
With some of
good.
that water?
Yeah.
juice.
Then you
With
The
put
the
got
juice, the
parsley.
Oh, you
juice
make
is
like
with
a-
onion and garlic and parsley and
Tomato.
tomato.
Uh-huh.
You let that cook down, and then
So
you
is it
add
thick,
water
kind of?
to it. No, then you add water,
Uh-huh.
and then that would be like a soup. If you want to put a potato in, you could.
Oh, Annie used to put
Yeah.
everything in.
And Aunt Annie used to put broccoli in it too, you know.
Yeah. But eggs, that's,
But
She used to
Lefty
always make
likes,
it for
Uncle Tony
trial.
likes eggs.
That sounds good.
It's
Who all,
like, when all the snow, we'd walk home from school.
was
One
it
time
far?
there was so much snow, Grandpa, my dad came down to get us and walked home.
Was
with
it far?
us. Wasn't awful far.
Hey,
but,
hey, hey.
But no, there was no streets or sidewalks,
No.
so I mean,
There.
it took a long
All
time.
dirt.
So it took dirt.
Over there, when there was snow, they didn't close those schools down.
Right.
You had to walk to school, we walked to school.
And they didn't
Used
have
to
any
be up to here
buses either.
sometime.
Uh-huh.
But I mean,
Jeez.
oh yeah.
Well, that's been
Our
70
teacher
years
lived
ago.
about 2 miles away from there, and she had to go over over a big hill like and down and up again.
Huh.
She used to walk it she used to walk it. Then finally, when it got too big, she boarded with the 2 old people. What the heck was their name?
Don't ask me names.
I can't remember their name. But 2 old people had what you call it there?
Probably, I don't know.
Even here, the winters used to be much worse then than they are now.
Just like
We used to
last,
get a lot of ice.
just like last year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
last year was
right.
another
Yeah.
bad one.
My
But we
dad
got-
used to make cleats to put on our shoes to go to
They had
school.
lots,
There was
lots
so
of
much
snow.
ice. Uh-huh.
We had lots.
My pop
And
used to walk
sled.
the coal mines. They used to walk 2 or 3 miles through woods and everything. I mean,
And even in the snow.
hills and everything.
Oh, yeah. He went to
Yeah.
work regardless what. It was a hard.
They used to come
working
home
man.
with a mustache. They used to have bicycles on there.
Oh.
You know, from breathing
Wow,
hard.
yeah.
Oh God, that
But
was
then-
cool.
But then Nancy, 15th of August was the Immaculate Conception
Mm-hmm.
thing. Oh, what a wonderful time we'd have. We'd probably have 10 cents. But that 10
Bands,
cents went a
dances,
long,
and
long way. We got soda with it and ice cream.
Did they have
It was
big,
big.
big parties or celebrations
Oh,
then?
the
for
lodge,
that?
they belonged to this Italian, they were Italian, but there were some French.
God, yeah.
And oh, what a wonderful time we'd have
Was that in Janesville?
in Janesville.
Now, who all was born in Italy and who
The 3
came
of them,
over?
Oh, Aunt Annie.
Ida, Annie, and Mary were born in Italy.
Okay. And then they came over with your mom and dad?
No, Pop came over and then she came over after.
Okay. So he came over first and started working
Yeah.
in the coal mines?
Yeah.
She was on a boat, how many days?
Oh, 2 months.
Everybody
30
was
days or
sick.
something like
I thought
that.
it was 2
Oh,
months.
God.
She said 30 days a
Everybody
month.
was sick. Not sick, no.
Like boats today then. They wasn't like boats
They
today.
were all crammed in
Yeah,
there
that was-
probably, huh?
Throw it in here.
Well, like
You
some of the
made it
boats
okay.
coming over from Haiti
That
and
was
stuff
around
now,
1900.
crammed in there like that.
That was around 1900.
Wow.
I always said, how in the world did they arrive in Janesville?
Well,
From New
just
York.
like
Yeah.
anything else.
Well, did they know people there?
Well, just like anything else. Now, you
Well,
say,
even the first man that went there.
Oh.
Mr. Maroney.
Yeah.
Mr. Maroney was the first one there. Well, they're friends. Just like now, when we all moved here to New Jersey, Mr. Cherry came over there, and Ferranti and them. They come over here and they come over and told them there's a lot of work on the farms because over there there's no more work. They maybe work once a week, once a month. Whenever
Over in
they needed
Janesville?
coal, whenever they needed coal.
Janesville.
There wasn't any more
See?
work?
And the only way we lived, because you had your own cow, you had your own pig, you had your own
Horse.
Yeah, we had a
horse, yeah, but and then you had your own chickens and everything. That's where you lived because there was no handouts. You couldn't make no money. So they heard about that, and then we moved over, and another one come over, and another one come over. Now we're about 400 or 500 families that come over to New Jersey.
So they came over to work on the farms?
It's the same like any place else, you know. Your friend moves there, he says, there's work here, you come over. And another guy will come over, another guy come over.
And did you guys work on the farms?
Oh,
Some
yeah.
when you were kids?
You know how much we was getting paid for? I
Not
was
much.
getting
probably.
7.5 cents an hour, 10 hours a day, 75 cents.
But when you went to the
6 days a
store,
week.
but you went to the store, the bread was 2 cents a loaf.
Mhm.
The milk, I guess we were buying milk by that time.
Huh?
We didn't have a cow, so everything was real cheap. A loaf of bread.
We made our
probably.
own butter, we made our own ricotta, we made our own cheese.
Made your own ricotta, huh?
Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, yeah. With the milk, you made ricotta, you made butter. all that.
Cheese.
Cheese.
And the
Wow.
butter, you
And booze. We had to take
it was
turns.
brown, you know, and
Uh-huh.
they put milk in there.
I've seen them before. You
Yeah.
gotta go like that.
And you were there taking turns.
Had to
Come
keep
back.
going, going, and
Huh.
going till every command. Then
One-
butter would come first, then ricotta.
One time we had company, we were married though, and so Nativo, and their job was to whip the cream, you know, the
Whose
heavy
job?
cream. Him and Nativo, they made
It's a
butter.
friend.
Oh.
They whipped it too
They
long.
whipped too long?
Mhm.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now, Aunt Santa, where's your family from? Janesville? Did you meet in Janesville?
No,
You met
we
here?
were always here in Bridgeton.
You were little,
Yeah, but your father was in Philadelphia first.
Yeah, my father was in Philadelphia. He met my mother there, and they got married.
And see, a lot of the family from Janesville, a lot of them went up around Newark, around Belleville and them places.
Mhm.
A lot of friends are up there. Then a lot of them went to Camden. A lot of them went to Michigan. Depends where they'd find, where somebody would go and find a job, and
Mhm.
they'd tell their friends about it, or their family, and then they'd all move to different places.
When we went to Italy,
Ohio, a lot of them went to Ohio, like the French people were,
Mhm.
and the Polish people, most of Ohio. The Italians mostly came over this way.
We
in
were
Michigan.
Italian,
Huh?
French, we were Italian, French, and Polish. in
Where?
Town.
In Janesville or here?
Janesville. And we had a
and
big
in
school.
English.
And-
Oh, yeah, yeah. It was nice.
Oh, there was some
Never
Irish,
traveled.
Irish people over there too.
Yeah, and I remember in Camden when I was in a play and Grandma, when we went down King Avenue, you know, that's where all the stores were, to buy a new dress.
Mhm.
But, you know, it'd be nice when we were in plays or something, we always got something new.
Mhm.
That
Boy,
was fun.
Camden was a
Camden
beautiful
was-
place when we lived there.
Yeah.
Nice, clean city, real nice. All the boats used to come in from Philadelphia there, and all the trains used to go, they used to come on ferries, and they'd get the trains
Mhm.
in New Jersey to go to the seashore. That was a busy place, Camden was.
But
Well,
now,
they had
now-
Campbell soup there, they
now
had,
it's the worst
The
city in
worst
the
city in the
United
United
States.
States.
huh?
Really?
Now it's the worst city in the United
was.
States.
They kill.
They're trying to build it
They're
up.
trying to build it up. Camden and Newark.
What was it like when you first got radio?
Huh?
What was it like when you
Oh,
first
my
got radio?
Goodness.
Huh?
What
When we
was it
first-
like when you first got radio?
But we got it here in Bridgeton. We didn't have.
Well,
In
We had-
Bridgeton, you were here?
Yeah,
no, first it was in,
we didn't have it in Camden.
in Janesville.
No.
Yes, it was. When Jack Dempsey and him were fighting George Close, they had a radio, and all the people went up there and hit the broadcast with his radio.
You didn't have a radio,
Yes,
but
sir.
somebody did.
Huh?
I said you didn't have a radio,
No.
but
We
somebody
didn't have a
Just-
radio till we
they're close.
Not here.
Well, then the
But-
farm,
but some
the
people
farm,
had-
nobody had it. When they had that Dempsey Muchcall fight, that's when I had my appendix out. I couldn't go. But Rudy and them all went up to Mr. Clark. They all sat around the rooms with them to listen to the fight.
I was married before I got it.
No, we had a radio.
A radio.
We had a big one in the corner, I remember. Because I remember when Mrs. Pepitone died, my father wouldn't let me turn the radio on.
Because
It was
For
a
respect.
friend, it was
Sad.
He
more-
said she was a good woman and you should respect her. She
So you
was no
shouldn't have the
relative.
radio on?
No, so we didn't.
See, the first broadcast came out from radio was in Pittsburgh. I think what was that station?
KDKA?
KDK. That was the first station that broadcast
Huh.
over the.
What kind of things was on the radio? Like the
Huh?
news? What things were on the
Well,
radio?
they had comedians on there where they talk. They have shows. I mean,
So
like
Amos and
operas.
Andy and things like, wasn't that on there?
Yeah,
That
Amos and
radio
Andy.
show?
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Fibber McGee and Molly,
Oh, yeah, Jack Benny,
Jack Benny, and
And then I remember getting
George,
my first
George,
TV.
Jessel.
Huh?
When was that?
Beautiful.
No,
Huh?
George
When was
Bird.
that?
Oh,
Well,
yeah,
I
we
was
were on
living down Love
television.
Street. I was living
that was
down
on
Love
radio
Street.
first.
And Annie got one before me. And we'd go over there and watch Perry Coleman, who else?
Hi Ho
Texaco.
Silver was on radio, the story of Hi Ho Silver.
Uh-huh.
That's where it started, then it went to television after.
Right.
All of them went to television after.
How
Like
long
Jack-
was it between radio and television?
Well,
Well,
I think
radio-
television was 1949.
No,
Mm-hmm.
oh, this is, no.
Television.
Before that, before the war, I used to go where Frank's had a television.
Oh,
Before
we
the
got
war.
it 1949.
Yeah, it was done
Well,
before
how about
the war.
when was radio then?
Huh?
About,
Oh, radio. I was a little girl. We had a radio.
so,
Yeah, we had
20s
radio.
or something? Is that what?
Probably. No, later than that. Maybe, well, maybe 25.
So, and then maybe 49 you said, you think the radio?
We had the,
TV?
we got a 49, but Aunt Nellie got it before we did.
They used to have like soap operas on there. They used to have stories like soap opera, that's where they come from.
Mhm.
These
On the
were soap-
radio?
On radio.
Yeah.
They,
Mhm. We
but
used
they
to
weren't
listen.
like what they are now.
No. They
way.
weren't like that, huh?
No way.
Yeah, but
How about
they're,
FDR's Fireside Chats?
they're getting,
Right, that was
Remember those?
television.
they're
Well, they were on the
getting,
radio, weren't they?
FDR Fireside Chat. Wasn't he on television? FDR,
President-
we had
President
television.
Roosevelt.
yeah, Fireside Chat.
No,
That was
that
on
was,
TV?
yeah.
Remember the Fireside
I
Chat?
don't
You had
remember.
one.
Yeah, that's what that's
Yeah.
what I'm asking about. You remember watching it on TV
Oh,
or,
yeah.
or
Yeah,
listening on the
yeah.
radio?
On TV,
TV?
yeah.
Well, you weren't up to, the news weren't nothing compared to what they are now. No way.
Oh,
The
no.
news were normal
I
news
think today
for the
news
country
is
and
bad.
things. Now, you know,
Now it's ruining the country
Mhm.
because it's too much.
They say too much and they add on to it. Everything has to be real exciting, you know,
Yeah.
even if it's not half true.
Mm-hmm.
But in those days, well, it was first it was what you read in the paper. Then
God.
what they said on radio.
Yeah.
But television, well,
Oh,
maybe
radio,
because we
radio.
were younger and didn't pay too much attention to it. I
you
don't
see,
know.
Nancy, maybe when you're about 82 or something like that, there might be a big change for you too. I don't know what.
Yeah, I don't know
You
what.
I don't know what.
You
For
know,
us, it was just you can't believe when we saw the first car. If a carnival came to town,
Mhm.
and my goodness, what they call they were
the medicine
they
man.
met it was
That's
a
a show.
get
Medicine
together.
That's
shows.
shows.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. And that was
They
beautiful.
were interesting, they were.
And they would sell stuff, and it's supposed to cure everything.
Like
They were
concoctions.
Mhm.
that-
They used to get kids up there and have like little contests, give a quarter, you know, who'd win. They'd give you a cracker, you'd have to put them in your mouth and the one would whistle first,
Uh-huh.
like that, you know.
Uh-huh.
Rudy
Did
won
win?
it. Rudy won it,
Yeah.
yeah. Cause the other guy cheated, the other guy seen he was cheating, he was spitting it out, see? And he blew first, but they wouldn't pay him because no, you had to keep it in your mouth and
Right.
whistle.
He was cheating, huh?
You know, see the crowd used to go around and listen to them, you know, they talk and
Well, there was
say
no else to
jokes
go.
and
We
stuff.
had no cars. We had no buses. We never went nowheres. And the doctor
What
was
do
the
you mean? I had
dentist
a
and everything
bicycle.
else. When you went, you know,
What do you mean, Jessie? I had a bicycle.
I said car.
You know, I had a
Bicycle.
you know, I had a
Bicycle's
bicycle.
been around for
What?
hundreds
A
of years.
bicycle, I had a bicycle, you know,
Yeah.
how I got that bicycle.
How'd you get it?
Some rich guy's son threw it away.
Oh.
I mean, it was a three-wheeler. They were bigger,
Uh-huh.
three-wheeler. So his wheel broke, he threw it away.
So you
So-
fixed it?
I got it, and I put the kid through, and I put two-wheelers.
Uh-huh.
and I made a 2-wheels out of it.
Oh.
Within 1 year, we rode that bicycle so much, we rode everything, wheels and everything. Over there, if you had a bicycle, it's hard to ride anyway because the roads are all dirt and all, when it rained, with big
Stone,
gutters and
yeah.
everything,
Oh,
and you
uh-huh.
slide all over the place.
When I lived with Mrs. Orlando, her daughter had a car, Model T Ford. She used to crank it in the front. And I remember one time, we were out in the country, and it stalled, and she couldn't get us. She was cranking it, my grandmother Jenny, and cranking it, and then she had to call somebody to come and straighten it
Oh, I
out.
remember them cars.
You know,
Joel and Annie had a car like that.
I'll tell you a story about a car. My sister Mary,
I knew he was going to say
my
that.
sister Mary, they bought a car.
Yeah.
She was the driver.
They didn't have to have license.
Huh?
She didn't have no
Yes, they
license.
did have license.
Oh, did they?
Sure. So
I don't
she was the
remember
driver. So
Yeah.
they went to town one day, so the train was coming. So she got too close to the train, she jumped up, to hold the car back up to hit the train. That's the truth.
How about was it Mr. Ray Ty?
Yeah, no, Mr. Ray Ty and
Mr. Ray-
Mr. People only, what the hell, Cat's Eye.
Cat's Eye.
They went to a picnic, and there was a place that had like a spring here, it was real cold water, and they used to go there and put their watermelons in, get them cold, you know, and they have it like a picnic. So when they got out, they parked their car, the tree was in their way, they couldn't back it up.
They couldn't go ahead.
They couldn't back up. Then when they went ahead, they got too far, and when they come out, they couldn't back up. So they had to go home and get a axe and cut the tree down. And then Mr. Ray Ty,
They didn't know how to back up.
they could back up, they knew that they couldn't get by that tree. So Mr. Ray Ty, he didn't know how to stop it. So he kept going around and around until he ran
Until
out
they
of
ran
gas.
out of gas.
That's the truth, that's the truth.
Ah. Huh. All right, that's good.